All right, good morning. Today is September 28, 2022. I'm Judge Case Johnson. I'm going to call the calendar. Please make your announcements. Deontay Arnold.
That's going to be a consent bond this morning.
All right, thank you. Elijah Brownlee.
He's ready.
I need to hold on that one and finish speaking with the state about it.
Okay, I'll do a pretrial on that. Warren Bullock.
That's a fast track.
All righty. Michael Chappell.
That's drug court this morning.
Okay, that fast track, was that for this morning or previously done?
This morning, Judge.
Okay, great, thank you. Willie Coleman.
That's going to be a bond waiver this morning.
Okay. Timothy Daniels.
That was a bond waiver previously done.
Okay. Olivo Fastabed.
Judge, I believe Attorney Hill and I were still pre-trying the case. She had just sent me a message in the chat, and I just hadn't had a time to respond.
Okay, I'll just put that down as a pretrial.
Thank you.
And Neela Garcia.
The state's ready.
Okay.
Ms. Freeman, I previously sent you an email. That's the waiver only.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Waiver only.
Okay. And I know Gray was a bond waiver. Zinja Taquika.
That's going to be a fast track this morning.
Okay, great. And Ms. Harris is out to bond. Daquan Kelly.
The state's ready.
Mr. Kelly's charges are continued to October 12th.
That's right.
October the 12th. Okay, so it should be on the 12th.
Yeah, all his charges, yes.
Okay. All righty. DeAndre McCray.
State's ready.
I need to hold on that one and pre-trial.
Okay. Patricia Minor.
The state's ready.
And Judge, that's my case. I'm still waiting to speak with Ms. Minor to see if we can, if I have a different announcement other than ready.
Gotcha, okay. Eliza Moncayo Ramirez is a bond waiver. Daquan Price.
State's ready.
Okay.
Oh, Judge, I'm sorry. That case, I believe that's a fast track this morning.
Okay.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, Elvin Pryor, that was a bond waiver. Shannon Richard is a fast track. Samantha Robinson was a fast track. Masario Rodriguez.
That's a fast track this morning.
All righty. What about Angel Ruby?
The state's ready.
Yeah, there seems to be some confusion on that one because I checked with the jail and they didn't have them this morning. So I was on that one and possibly reschedule it.
There's your objection, Judge.
Okay, so we're gonna continue. How long? Just till next week?
That
We can
should
do 2 weeks.
We need 2 weeks?
Well, just the only reason I asked that is just because the calendars for next week, I believe the final calendars are being sent out, but if you want to put this one on next Wednesday, if it's enough time for magistrate court to get the subpoena out, we can do it.
Well, is there any way?
Make sure it's enough time.
Is there any way that he can just be brought over?
Well, I probably would still need to talk to him because when I tried to talk to him at the jail, it was a similar issue. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's try for next Wednesday, which is what?
This Wednesday is the 5th.
The 5th. Okay, so we'll continue Mr. Ruby to 10-5. All right. Johnny Rutherford.
State's ready.
It's probably gonna be a bond waiver, but I need to confirm first.
Okay, so I'll put it as pretrial. Sanford, bond waiver. That was Zanquavius Sanford, that was a bond waiver. Robin Smith is a fast track. David Swain,
Judge, on that particular case, the officer has a conflict that's on file and he is on annual leave. And so we would ask that case, if we can't get it resolved, that it be rescheduled.
who has this case? Ms.
So
Hill?
this is, yeah, Rhonda Hill with Public Defender's Office. Initially, I was assigned his case, but I was also his attorney, his co-defendant's attorney. So he has to be conflicted out.
Oh, okay, all righty. So we need a continuance on this one?
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe Patrice has already started working on the conflict. So yeah, he definitely needs a continuance.
And how long, Ms. Davis, do you think?
2 weeks is fine, Your Honor.
David Swain.
So that, Your Honor, would
What we
be
just did.
October 12th.
That's fine, thank you.
Okay, so continued October 12th. And then Nathaniel Sweatman.
The state's ready.
And that may be a way beyond, but I need to speak to Mr. Sweatman this morning.
Okay, I'll put it as a pretrial. Fernando Dela Perez.
That's gonna be a bond waiver this morning, Judge, with Mr. Honeycutt. I'm working on the paperwork now.
All right, Mr. Honeycutt, unless you just want to hang around, you're free, you're excused. Attorney Honeycutt, did you hear me? It looks like he's frozen maybe.
There
Oh,
he
there-
is.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here, I'm sorry. We got a bond offer from Miss Freeman.
Right, she
and
just
was
announced it.
She was gonna send us a waiver of the hearing, so that's fine with us.
Okay, all right, well, you go have a great day.
And Attorney Honeycutt, just when you get the paperwork, just make sure you sign it and return it to me. And Judge, may Officer Edwards, I believe that was Officer Edwards' only case. It should be excused.
Yes.
Thank you, Officer Edwards.
Thank you.
Jarrell Williams is out to bond. And then what about Julia Winkfield?
One second. State's ready.
And I think that'll be a bond waiver, but I'm with Bill this morning.
Okay, I'll put that down as a pretrial. All right, and so Deputy, let me go through the list and tell you who you can send back. Tell me when you're ready.
Go ahead, man.
All righty, so oh wait, let me start from the beginning. All right, so Mr. Arnold can go back.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Bullock can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Chapel can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Coleman can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Timothy Daniels can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Gearsaw can go back. Marquise Gray.
That last one, you said the last name was,
Is Gearsaw?
is that Neela?
Yes, Neela. Looks
Got
like
it.
Neela. Marquise Gray.
Okay.
Zinga Hakikaya. First name is Zinga.
Got it.
And then Moncayo Ramirez,
Yes, ma'am.
Daquan Price,
Ma'am.
Alvin Pryor,
Okay.
Shannon Reichart for Church.
ma'am.
Samantha Robinson.
Yes, ma'am.
Angel Ruby.
Got it.
Vanquavius Sanifer. Robin Smith. David Swain. And Fernando. All those can go back.
Yes, ma'am.
All righty, thank you. I'm sitting right here, guys. Just let me know when you need me.
How many females?
And so I know Mr. Rogers wanted to speak with Ms. Freeman. There's a few pre-trials. So Mr. Rogers, I can put you in room 2 with Ms. Freeman.
Well, I was gonna say, actually, I probably could start with the jail.
Up with the jail, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Deputy, if you would just join room 1, and Mr. Rogers, you're already in there.
Thank you.
And Judge, we're still,
All right, so we are now.
This meeting is
We are
being
now
recorded.
streaming live on YouTube. We are calling the case of State of Georgia versus Alicia Williams, charged with warrant 2022 WA14349, driving under the influence. Representing the state is Mr. Taylor. Representing the defendant is Mr. Stephen Little. Mr. Taylor, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Parks. Officer Parks, could you raise your hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the court in the matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, officer. Could you state your full name and occupation, please?
Officer Jeremy Parks with the Clayton County Police Department.
Okay. And what are your duties as officer with the police department?
I answer calls for service and handle traffic law as well.
So basically a traffic patrol officer, is that correct?
I do traffic as well as answering calls for service.
Yes.
I'm not a traffic officer specifically.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Have you had occasion to respond to DUI calls?
I have.
Okay. Were you working on September 13th of 2022?
Yes, sir.
And did you have occasion to make contact with the defendant in this case, Miss Alicia Williams, on that date?
Yes, I did.
Could you describe what initiated that contact, the reason for that contact, please?
We were dispatched to Avon Avenue in reference to a domestic disturbance. Upon arrival, I made contact with Miss Williams as well as her cousin. I believe her last name was Miss Jefferson, who were having a verbal argument outside their apartment complex in reference to Miss Williams leaving her children under her cousin's care.
Okay. And when you arrived, both Miss Williams and her cousin were present, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what occurred after that point?
I made contact with Miss Williams, and while I was speaking with her, I smelled the strong odor of alcoholic beverage, and she seemed very excited. Had a very difficult time maintaining a consistent volume.
Mm-hmm.
And upon speaking with her, she told me that she had recently just come from picking up her son at Morrow High School, and her cousin was alleging that Miss Williams had tried to run her over with a car, And I asked Williams about that, and she said that she didn't trigger her cousin with a car. She had simply backed up the vehicle and then pulled forward, sort of in her cousin's direction. I asked Miss Williams how much she'd had to drink today, and she said, "Oh, I haven't had anything to drink today. I drank a lot last night." And that's when I began the DUI investigation.
Okay. Where was Ms. Williams physically when you were speaking with her?
When I arrived, she was sitting in the front seat of her car.
Was that in
the driver's seat?
The driver's seat?
Yes, sir.
Were the keys in the ignition?
I don't recall.
Okay. She admitted that she had been driving.
Yes, sir.
Within a short period of time before your arrival. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And her cousin, the witness in question, observed her driving. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's what the initial call was that Miss Williams was trying to run her cousin over with a car.
Okay. You said you began your DUI investigation based on the odor of alcohol from coming from Miss Williams?
Yes, sir. I asked Miss, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, could you describe that investigation, please?
I asked Miss Williams if she'd be willing to submit to standardized field sobriety tests, and she said she would. And that's when I began with the HGN tests, and then the walk and turn and the one leg stand.
Okay.
Ms. Williams displayed, go ahead.
The results of those standardized field sobriety, please.
Gotcha. Ms. Williams displayed 4 clues total on HGN, and let me check my report really quick. She displayed 4 additional clues on the walk and turn and 2 additional clues on the one leg stand.
Okay. And I believe you may have answered this previously, but could you describe her demeanor during this time?
She was very agitated. She was going between being very angry with her cousin, being depressed and crying, to flirtatious, to combative, just a roller coaster of emotions.
Okay. Based on the field sobriety test and her demeanor, did you make any conclusions as to her sobriety?
Yes, sir. I concluded that she was not safe to drive and had not been to drive.
And that she had,
and based on her own admission, she had been driving after she had drank.
Thank you. Were there any other, or is there any other information you'd like to provide on this charge?
No, sir.
And based on the information that you gathered, what action did you take?
I placed her under arrest for driving under the influence less safe.
After her arrest, did you read the implied consent to her?
I did. As soon as I placed her in handcuffs, I read implied consent. And when we got to the Clayton County Jail, she also submitted to a blood test.
Thank you. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Little.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Parks, you were called out for a domestic disturbance. Who was the person that called the police?
It was Miss Jefferson, Miss Williams' cousin.
Miss Jefferson called the police. Okay. You're a post-certified law enforcement officer? I worry we may not have a good connection with Officer Parks, actually.
Officer Parks.
So.
Yeah.
He's like moving at all.
I believe Officer Parks' connection is sort of limited at this point. I'm not seeing any movement either.
Oh, boy, okay. Let's see if we can give him a couple seconds to work it out.
He'd probably,
Yes,
if you disconnect and reconnect, that may correct the problem.
I'm worried he's on some Wi-Fi somewhere since he's in his patrol car.
All right, let's give him 1 minute. Oh, there he is. Thank you.
Officer Parks, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right, let's try it.
Okay.
Officer Parks, you're a post-certified law enforcement officer, right?
Yes, sir.
And you received training at Police Academy?
Yes, sir.
Do they train you there how to write police reports?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in a police report, you would want to have all the legally relevant information to the case, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why didn't you put anything in the police report about her telling you this story about dropping her kids off at Morrow High School?
Because I wasn't sure that was, give me just a moment. Let me double check my police report because I believe I did. Yeah, it wasn't relevant. I wasn't sure on the timeline of when she actually dropped her or picked up her son from Morrow High School.
Okay.
She had admitted to driving just a few minutes prior, and that's where I based my charge on.
And where did she tell you she was driving to and from?
She said she drove out of the parking spot that she was in and drove back into the next and back up into the next one.
Is this parking spaces at an apartment complex?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's the incident location for the domestic disturbance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what she told you was that she backed out of a parking space and then pulled into another parking space adjacent to it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And she told you she was doing that to get away from her cousin that was attacking her?
No, sir. She told me that her cousin was trying to get her cell phone and her keys back. And so she had backed up and then realized, oh, I'm not going to run. So she pulled back forward. Her cousin alleged that she was trying to run her over with a vehicle.
I see. Did Miss Jefferson tell you that Miss Williams had been living with her?
Yes.
And was Miss Jefferson trying to remove Miss Williams from the house?
No, sir.
Okay, so she didn't ask you to like do any kind of criminal trespass or remove her or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. And as far as the standardized field sobriety tests, you received NHTSA training on how to perform those tests?
Yes, sir.
When did you receive that training?
I don't remember the date exactly. It was in late July or early August.
Of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Is that like a refresher course or something, or was that your initial
No,
training?
sir. That's when I was in academy.
Oh, okay. How many times have you performed standardized field sobriety tests in your role as a law enforcement officer?
I did it dozens of times in the academy, and this would be my first time on the road.
Okay. Those are the questions I have at this time.
All righty. Any redirect, Mr. Taylor?
No redirect, Your Honor.
Have I closed an argument?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on Officer Park's testimony, the defendant was behind the wheel of the vehicle, and a witness saw the defendant immediately preceding the officer's arrival driving the vehicle. So we've established that the defendant was operating and in control of the vehicle. And based on Officer Park's testimony, he had reason to suspect that she was intoxicated. He performed field sobriety tests that confirmed that initial suspicion of intoxication, and the field sobriety test, along with the admission of the defendant that she had been drinking, gave probable cause for the officer to suspect that she was under the influence of alcohol to the point where she was less safe to operate the vehicle.
All right, thank you, Mr. Little.
Officer Parks testified that when he arrived on scene, Ms. Williams was in the driver's side of her vehicle, but he was not able to testify whether or not the keys were in the ignition. So we don't know whether or not the car was on or whether or not she was just, sitting in her car after having this argument with her cousin at the home that they shared. The alleged admission from Ms. Williams is that she reversed her car out of one parking lot and pulled it into the adjacent parking lot. I would submit that is not the type of conduct that the DUI statute is intended to criminalize. The DUI statute is intended to protect drivers on the public highways of the state of Georgia, to keep them from encountering drivers that may be under the influence that could injure them. It's not made to punish people who are moving their car from one parking spot to the adjacent parking spot without ever leaving the private parking lot that she was in, Your Honor. But that's even if the state is able to prove this car ever moved, because all that Officer Parks is able to see is that she's sitting in the driver's seat of the parked vehicle without knowing that the vehicle was even on. So, Your Honor, I would state this state has failed to meet their burden of probable cause in this case for DUI, Your
Honor. Your Honor, may I address that one point? The statute for DUI does not require that the vehicle be operated on a public road. It just requires that the person driving the vehicle actually be operating the vehicle under the influence of an alcohol or other substance.
Okay, I have a question for Officer Parks. Did you ever, did you have to have her take the keys out of the ignition? Well, you indicated earlier that you testified that you didn't see any keys, or you don't know if she had the keys.
No, ma'am, I didn't. I never saw her move the vehicle or operate the vehicle. I was basing my charge on her testimony that she had operated the vehicle under the influence.
All right, and did you feel the car, was it warm? Is there any evidence that you noticed that the car had been moved?
The car was parked kind of wonky in the parking spot. It was parked in between parking spots, like at an angle, consistent with what Ms. Jefferson told me about her had trying to go towards her.
Okay. So you're saying the way it was positioned led you to believe it had been moved. Is that what you're saying?
That, as well as Ms. Jefferson and Ms. Williams' testimony.
Okay, that she had been drinking or that she had been driving?
That she had been driving. She said that she had backed the vehicle out of one parking spot and pulled up forward into another one. And then when I asked her when she had been drinking, she said she had drank heavily the night before. But based on my tests, I found that she was still under the influence.
Okay. And about what time was this again?
Give me just a moment. It was I was dispatched to the call at 12:30 p.m.
Okay, and you testified that she indicated she had taken her kids to school?
She indicated that she had picked up her son from Morrow High School, but that's not what I based the charge on. I based the charge on the fact that she had backed out of the parking spot and into another one just a few minutes prior to me arriving.
Okay. All right, hold tight, one moment. All righty. Based upon the evidence presented here, I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind this case over to the state court, and it's primarily based upon that slight movement of that car. And so would either party be interested in being heard on bond, on the lower bond at this time?
Sure, Your Honor. Let's see what her bond is actually at.
2,000.
2,000, Your Honor. Your Honor, I would point out that she's been in here since September the 13th. So she's
Right.
got a little over 2 weeks at this point where she's been unable to make bond. Your Honor, my worry is that I'm not sure she'd be able to make bond with anything other than an unsecured judicial release.
Mr. Taylor, do you have any criminal history on Ms. Williams?
One moment, Your Honor, and I'll check.
All right. And for Ms. Upshaw, that is 4 cases, correct?
I believe so, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mhm. All righty. Good morning. Today is September 27, 2022. I'm Judge Case Johnson. This is the matter of State of Georgia versus Crystal Upshaw, charged in warrant number 2022 WA14407, criminal trespass, 2022 WA14408, use or possession of drug-related objects, 2022 WA14409, simple battery, and 2022 WA14410, obstruction. Representing the state is Mr. Taylor. Representing the defendant is Mr. Stephen Little. Mr. Taylor, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Officer Karolova, please.
Yes, sir.
Good morning still. Good
morning.
Officer. Could you raise your right hand, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay, looking. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the court in this matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Could you state your full name, please?
Officer Ella Kirilova, Clayton County Police Department.
Okay, and what are your duties with the Clayton County Police Department?
I'm patrol officer for Sector 4.
Thank you. On September 14th of 2022, did you have occasion to come into contact with the defendant, Crystal Upshaw?
Yes, sir.
And could you tell us about how that contact came about?
I responded to Arrowhead Pawn Shop area. The complainant / victim, 72-year-old gentleman, said that he went inside Shell gas station, which was located off Old Dixie Highway. He went to pay for his gas, and when he returned to his vehicle, he found Miss Upshaw inside his vehicle on the passenger seat. He said he never saw her before. He didn't know who she was, and he asked her to step out. She said she is not getting out because she was hungry. He said that he was asking her multiple times to leave. He also promised to buy her some food if she leaves from his vehicle. She refused to do so. Also, as I was advised, Ms. Upshaw told him that she doesn't want food anymore, but she wants some money. So 72-year-old guy did not do any better than he decided to drive to Arrowhead Pawn Shop, which about half a mile away from Shell gas station. As he advised, he knew is a security guard at the pawn shop, and he just wanted to ask him to help to get her out of his vehicle. So when he parked at the pawn shop, Miss Upshaw remained in the vehicle. She still didn't want to leave. So he went inside, asked security guard to help him to get her out. Security guard told him just call 911. So when I arrived, the complainant was outside of pawn shop when Miss Upshaw still was in the vehicle, in the passenger seat. The passenger seat was unfolded, so she was laying down inside. When I opened the door, she was sleeping, but she woke up. I asked her, ma'am, what are you doing in this vehicle? She tried to speak, but she had a hard time to speak. She was obviously under influence, not alcohol. So she basically mumbled that she's just sleeping here and I need to leave her alone. So I asked her to step out because she is in somebody else's vehicle and he doesn't want you here. And she said, no, she didn't want to leave. I said, okay, but I need to know who you are, identify yourself, ask her for her ID or name. She refused to give me any name or any ID. All she was doing was mumbling that she didn't do nothing wrong. She was just trying to sleep in the car. Therefore, I don't need her ID at all. So when I asked her several more times to step out and she refused, I grabbed her arm and tried to help her out of the vehicle. And at this point, she slid toward the driver side, attempting to escape from the vehicle through the driver door. So I was able to grab her leg and pin it to the seat. So she started kicking me, and she did kick me several times with her other leg. So I grabbed both of her legs and dragged her toward me, tried to get her out of the vehicle. So she sit up at the point and tried to bite me in my neck. So I had to let one of my hands go to push her so she won't bite me. And I still held her leg down and she started screaming and she's in pain and I'm breaking her bone. And I loosened it up. At this time, she just held herself with another leg. She took her shoe off and snatched her leg out of my hand. And she took off running through the driver's side. She lost her shoe over there. So I ran behind her. And when I was about 2-3 steps behind her, thinking, should I try to get her while she's on her feet or get her on the ground? She decided to hide behind the electrical box, which was attached to the wall at the end of a shopping plaza. I guess she thought I don't see her when I was, like I said, 2-3 feet away from her. So she basically got on the ground behind that electrical box. I had to get on my knee and try to handcuff her. She was biting me. So she put her mouth on my rest area. But before she closed her teeth, I had to push it up and backwards. So she won't, I had some prints, but it didn't break my skin. She continued kicking, fighting me. So I was able to handcuff her, but on the front. And only after that, when I already was escorting her toward my patrol vehicle and when she was using dead weight, other units arrived. And so they helped me to recuff her and put her hands behind her back. So she, at no point, she gave me her name. She did not explain why she was in the vehicle. I assume she was trying to perform something else, but she was too intoxicated for that. So EMS arrived, she refused to get checked. She refused to give them her name. And we basically found out who she was only when we used rapid ID, which is upon checking, she came back with active arrest warrant. That's it. Oh.
During her arrest, did you find any items on her person?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot it. She had a little brown purse across her shoulder, all inside time. And there was a pipe, crack pipe inside. There was no raw residue inside the pipe. Everything was burned, but it was just used probably recently, and it was submitted to evidence.
And based on your experience and training, you've seen this type of pipe before?
Yes, sir.
And you were able to identify it?
Yes, sir.
That was a lot of information. I just want to confirm a few things. When she originally got into the victim's vehicle, that was on, I believe, Old Dixie Highway?
Yes, that was 6142 Old Dixie Highway. This is Shell gas station.
And that's in Clayton County, correct?
Yes, sir.
And where was the location where you made contact with her?
Arrowhead Pawn Shop parking lot.
And that's also in Clayton County, correct? When you attempted to remove her from the car, she kicked you.
Yes, she kept saying no, and she started kicking me when I actually put my hand on her, tried to get her out. That's when she started kicking.
Did you receive any visible injuries from the kicks?
That was a little teeth print over here, but the skin was not broken. That's why I didn't. She didn't attack me to bite. She was trying to prevent me from getting arrested. That's what she was doing.
So she kicked you and she attempted to bite you. Is that correct?
Yes, several times.
And additionally, she ran away once she left the vehicle. She didn't comply with your commands.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, officer. No further questions.
Mr. Little?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Kirilova, you made contact with the alleged victim, Victor Matthias?
I think Matthias. That's
Matthias.
how. That's how
Okay.
I pronounce his last name.
And you said he was 72 years old?
72-year-old man.
Okay. Do you have any idea how old Miss Upshaw is?
She's 30-something.
30-something?
Let me look at her date of birth. Let me give you exact date of birth. Oh no, she's 24.
She's 24. Okay.
24. I'm
And
sorry.
she was in Mr. Mathis's vehicle
Yes, sir.
when you made contact with her.
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Mathis says she got in at a Shell station on Old Dixie.
Yes, sir.
Did you go to that Shell station to see if there were any witnesses at the Shell station?
No, we did not.
Okay, so
She
no.
still was in the vehicle. Nobody stopped her from leaving.
Okay. You said when you made contact with her, she appeared as though she might have been under the influence of some sort of intoxicants.
Well, from my experience, she was under influence of drug. I did not smell any alcohol. However, all her disorderly clothes, her pupils were huge. I did not see any reaction to light. It was sunny, bright outside. She was really unable to speak. She couldn't even run fast. So she was not complying, not answering no questions. She just was clearly intoxicated, as from my own experience.
Okay.
And the crack pipe, which was used.
It was used.
I mean, what outside was used, it's been used before.
Well, how do you know it was used?
Well, it was burned inside. It was no raw residue that was burned already. So.
Okay. Was it submitted for any sort of testing?
No, like I said, it was nothing to test. It was all burned. It was no raw. I tried to see, but it wasn't there no more.
Was the pipe taken into evidence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Mr. Mathis is telling you that he did not invite Miss Upshaw into the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay. He left his door unlocked at the gas station, I guess is what he told you?
Yes, that's what he said. When he went to pay, he didn't lock his door.
But you didn't go to the Shell station to see if there was any sort of like surveillance video of that to corroborate?
It was not needed. She still was there when I arrived.
Okay. She was saying that she wanted Mr. Mathis to pay her?
Well, he said she told him first that she was hungry, and after he offered her to buy some food for her if she get out of his vehicle, she told him that I don't want no food now, I want some money.
Okay.
That's what I was told. He completed a statement as well.
Oh, he did a written statement?
Yes, I have written statement from him and from the witness from pawn shop.
Okay. The witness from the pawn shop is the security guard he spoke to.
No, he was outside during all the encounter. So I have a written statement from him as well.
Okay. Did either Mathis or Upshaw tell you if they had any sort of business arrangement together?
No, Upshaw was not really speaking. She was making noise sounds, mumble sounds. And Mr. Mathis said that he never saw her in his life before. He was kind of scared when he found her in his vehicle.
I got you. Now you say you tried to extract her from the passenger side of the vehicle, but she escaped through the driver's side?
Yes.
When you tried to take her into custody, or rather, when you tried to remove her from the vehicle, were you the only officer present for that?
Yes, sir.
Had you called for any sort of backup to come assist you in that arrest?
I called for backup when she took off running, but I already caught her.
So that was after you tried to remove her from the vehicle. She
Yes.
ran, and then when she ran, you called for backup.
That I'm hurting her, holding her leg down. That's why I loosened it up. I didn't want to hurt her. And that's why she took her shoe off, snatched her leg out of my hand, and took off running through the driver's side. That's how I was chasing her and I caught her.
Is she alleged to have done any damage to the vehicle?
No, it was not damaged. I asked Mr. Mathis to check if something unknown to him objects were left in the vehicle, or maybe something was missing, or any damages. He said nothing new, nothing missing, and no damage.
Okay.
Well, besides urine stains on the passenger seat.
Some what?
I guess someone urinated on the passenger seat. That's it.
Okay. It's gonna be weird to ask this, but what made you think that that was urine?
Well, it smelled like urine, and well, she did something else later. I guess she wanted to use bathroom on site time. So.
Okay. What was the reason for needing to extract her from the vehicle then, as opposed to getting some assistance to bring her out?
Well, she was not no threat to me. She's kind of way smaller than me. I did not see I need any help.
I got you. So the obstruction, is that for the idea that she ran, or for the, what did you charge her with the obstruction for?
Well, it's kind of several elements into it. She refused to identify herself. She did not leave from the vehicle. She ran away. She resisted arrest. Like I say, we basically, it was use of force applied. That was use of force report made as well by Sergeant.
Those are the questions I have at this time, Your Honor.
All righty, any redirect?
Yes, just briefly. Officer Kirilova, you said that you found what appeared to be your urine stains in the vehicle. Were those fresh? Was the seat damp?
Well, she was sitting on it. It was like more moisture print because she was sitting on that seat.
Moist.
But Mr. Matthews, he was like, no, it's nothing there. I'm good. So I guess he wiped it off a little bit.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so based upon evidence presented, there is sufficient probable cause to bind Ms. Upshaw's charges, all four, to the State Court of Clayton County. That's the order of the court.
Thank you, Officer Kirilova.
May I be excused?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Officer Rupert, who do you have?
It'd be William Stanton William.
Death by conversion.
Which one? He's got two cases.
Yeah.
I was only aware of one.
What warrant number are you on? You're on 73730.
I'm sorry.
I see here you're on 730. What about Cale Williams, Officer Cale Williams? I see an Officer Williams up there. Can you turn your camera on, Officer Williams?
Your Honor, that's Officer Rodney Williams.
Okay, that's a different one. Okay. All righty. And Officer,
Honor.
yes.
Who's the next person you need?
Stanton Williams, I guess we can just do the death by conversion. It's because we do not have Officer Michael Williams, or do we?
Your Honor, I do not see Officer Michael Williams on here.
All right, and Officer Rupert, is this the only case you have?
The only one I was made aware of for today.
Okay, all right, and, okay. So,
You said
Mr. Tipton, do you desire that we just handle that death by conversion?
It's actually Mr. Taylor's case, Your Honor. My apologies. I
Okay. Mr.
jumped the
Taylor,
gun on that one myself. My fault.
The, yes, Your Honor, these appear to be totally separate incidents, so we can proceed with the theft by conversion.
okay. All right, so yes, Stan, oh, he's going to get him now. All right, hold tight for me.
And this is gonna be my case, Your Honor.
Okay, great, thank you.
You got Stanton Williams?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Stanton Williams?
Yes,
You said you need a Stanton?
yes, Stanton Williams.
All right, give me 1 second.
All right.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
You don't make it happen.
Your Honor stepped away for a moment. And I'll be
Did they give me the name again?
Stanton Williams.
What's your last name, man?
Williams.
What's your last name?
It's Antoine.
It's Antoine. Okay. Thank you, sir.
We're looking for Stanton Williams.
Antoine. See, they want Stanton.
Okay, we don't have a Stanton down. Okay, then give me
The
1
middle
second.
name Dwight,
White.
middle
Okay.
name Dwight,
Dwight.
yes.
Your Honor, it's
Okay, we don't-
possible that they weren't added to the calendar. They're on our list, but
He's definitely in there. I
yeah, he's
spoke
definitely in
to
there.
him
Yes,
yesterday.
that's for sure. He's definitely in there. But the actual, my calendar I printed out a couple of days ago, but he's not on the actual court calendar. He's on our list though.
Yeah, he was on when Judge
Yeah.
called it, so he's on.
Okay.
They got the officer here. We got everything here.
Can we get his LE number?
Yeah, let's see if I can find it.
1808942.
Okay, we're gonna have to.
Spell his first name.
Can you spell his first name?
Stantone. Stanton Dwight Williams Jr.
Looks like what happened when you all spoke about the charges. There were other charges. Some were related, some were unrelated. So at one point, he was on the felony calendar to then be taken off of the felony calendar. And then solicitor's office indicated that some of his charges were felony to put him back on the felony calendar. So then they found out that those charges were unrelated. So that's probably exactly what happened. He was put on and then taken off. but he is definitely, he should definitely be on the misdemeanor calendar.
Okay, so, what do we have going on here?
It seems as though the jail may not have brought up Mr. Stantuan Williams. They had an Antoine Williams this morning.
Okay.
I'm hoping they can bring him up though, since we have the officer here and we're otherwise prepared to go forward.
Yes, so Deputy, you think we can get him here? Get him up?
Get him up.
Yes, ma'am, we're about to get him.
Great, thank you. All
Your
right,
Honor,
I'm
based
sorry.
on the,
We're really close.
All right.
All righty. So who else do we have here? What other, Officer Coleman? Who do you have?
Jamal Muhammad.
All righty. Deputy, if we can get Jamal Muhammad. And that is, he has 2 charges, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are you Mr. Jamal Muhammad?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we are calling you, I'm calling your matter. This is the state of Georgia versus Jamal Muhammad, warrant number 2022 WA14110, and that's battery. And warrant number 2022 WA14111, obstruction of an officer. Representing the state is Mr. Taylor, representing the defendant is Mr. So. Mr. Taylor, your witness.
thank you, Your Honor. Officer Coleman, could you raise your hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give to the court in this matter now pending shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Could you state your full name and occupation?
Officer Travis Coleman, patrol officer for Riverdale Police Department.
And you said you're a patrol officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
On September 9th of 2022, did you have occasion to go to the Citgo gas station on Valley Hill Road?
Yes, sir, I did.
What was the reason you were dispatched to that location?
On September 9th of this year, approximately 8:07 p.m., Clayton County dispatched myself and other Riverdale patrol officers to 510 Valley Hill Road, which is the Citgo gas station, in reference to a 29 call, which is a fight call. Upon my arrival, I was the first officer on scene. As soon as I stepped out of the vehicle, several unknown witnesses and customers that was pumping gas, leaving out the gas station, who witnessed the physical altercation, stated to me, there he go, he's the guy that was fighting. He's trying to get away, while pointing towards Upper Riverdale Road, pointing in the direction of Mr. Muhammad. I immediately looked over at Mr. Muhammad while Mr. Muhammad was walking away from the store. He looked at me directly. I asked Mr. Muhammad to stop walking. At that time, Mr. Muhammad took off running across Upper Riverdale Road, leading me to run behind him to try to detain him for further investigations. While running, I repeatedly gave loud several verbal directives to Mr. Muhammad to stop running. Mr. Muhammad refused, ignored all directives, and he continued to run. He ran behind building 483 up Riverdale Road, which is a medical center. And one of the reasons that Mr. Muhammad stopped running, because he ran to he closed himself in. He ran in between a building, and there was no way out. At that time, other patrol officers, as well as assisting agencies, Clayton County Police Department Sector 2, came out to assist due to the nature of the call. Mr. Muhammad was then placed in handcuffs, and he was transported back to 510 Valley Hill. with the sit-go for further investigation. At that time, when I went back to the gas station, the witnesses that was pumping gases that observed a physical altercation, of course, they was gone from the gas station. There was other people there. I went in and met with a complainant, which was the store clerk. I spoke with the complainant to see what occurred, what happened, what was the reasons of the call. The store clerk, Mr. Fitzum, if I'm not mistaken, he stated that Mr. Muhammad came into the gas station as if he wanted to purchase some items, which is chips, candies, miscellaneous snacks. Mr. Fitzum stated that Mr. Muhammad came to the counter to check out. His total was roughly $30-something. Mr. Muhammad attempted to swipe a debit credit card. The transaction was denied. Mr. Fitzum, the clerk, advised Mr. Muhammad that the transaction did not go through. Mr. Muhammad again attempted to swipe the same card. At that time, Mr. Fitzum turned around the screen to let Mr. Muhammad see that the transaction was not approved. It was denied. Mr. Fitzum stated that at that point, Mr. Muhammad became angry and started putting the unpaid items into a black bag, his own personal black bag that he brought into the store. The black bag that Mr. Fitzum described was also the black bag that was retrieved when Mr. Muhammad was taken, but when he was detained. Mr. Fitzum stated that once he saw that Mr. Muhammad was placing the unpaid for items into his personal black bag, he left from around the register area to go and prevent any thefts, to retrieve the items, the store items. Mr. Fitzum stated that once he went to grab the items to prevent the theft, Mr. Muhammad immediately struck him in the mouth area, which left a bruise, cut, and blood on the left top part of his lip.
Officer Coleman, were you able to observe that wound to the victim?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
Prior to me going into the store, I've seen it was mushed bananas on the floor, liquid that I don't know what kind of liquid it was. If it was alcoholic beverages, sodas, I don't know. Busted bag of chips. The shells was pushed out of the original area, so I could just from my observation, I knew that some type of physical altercation had occurred in the store. Mr. Muhammad also had, prior to being placed in handcuffs, I did notice that he had blood on his mouth and nose area, which Mr. Fitzum did state that he did strike back to defend himself. And other than that, Riverdale Fire, Clay County EMS came out to evaluate both parties. While speaking with while Mr. Muhammad was speaking with Riverdale Fire, he had slurred speech. You can smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverages coming from his breath. And that's it.
Can you identify the defendant, Mr. Muhammad, on the Zoom call today, possibly by an article of clothing?
Yes, sir. Orange jumpsuit, white facial mask.
And did you say that Mr. Muhammad still had items from the store in his possession when you arrested him?
He did. He had 2 bags of chips inside the black bag that was identified by Mr. Fitzum. Mr. Muhammad, once he was placed in the back of Officers Patrol Unit, he was not taken back out. Mr. Muhammad was described physical characteristics and clothing by Mr. Fitzum, the store clerk. The bag was retrieved from Mr. Muhammad. There was 2 bags of chips that Mr. Fitzum, the store clerk, did not want to prosecute on the theft of the 2 bags of chips.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Officer.
All right, Mr. Sub.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hello, officer.
Hey, how are you?
All right, let's doing good. Thank you for asking. So I wanted to go back to the beginning. So why would you call to this gas station again?
It was a fight call, priority one call.
And you mentioned that a witness said something along the lines of, I believe, there he go. Could you describe the witness, please?
It was not only one witness there. To be exact, it was 3 witnesses. It was one female and one female and 2 males. They were all in one vehicle. They were pumping gas. As I pulled up, all 3 started yelling at me. There he goes. That's the one that was fighting. He's trying to get away. By that time, I made direct eye contact with Mr. Muhammad. Muhammad returned the favor by giving me direct eye contact. As he was, I'm sorry. As he was walking off, I asked Mr. Muhammad to stop. Just for investigation.
I hate to interrupt, but I just wanted to ask about the witnesses. I believe you already gave that testimony earlier.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
It was a lady and 2 males.
Okay. And did you get their information, name, number, anything of that nature?
So as stated before, when I came back to the gas station, the witnesses had already left.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Oh, one follow-up, Your Honor. Officer Coleman, are you aware if the store has video or surveillance cameras that were functioning?
The store does have surveillance, video surveillance. Myself and my sergeant did ask the store clerk for surveillance. Unfortunately, the clerks don't have access to it. He said we'll have to come from the store owner. But they are, he did state that the footages are kept for up to 45 days.
Thank you, officer. No additional questions.
All righty. Any redirect, Mr. Taylor, no, you rest at this point. Mr. Taylor, you rest?
I rest, Your Honor.
All righty. Closing arguments.
Defense submits on the evidence, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Your Honor. Based on the testimony of the officer, I believe the state has established probable cause that Mr. Muhammad, first, he obstructed the officer when he fled, given direct instructions to stop running and to come back and speak to the officer. He interfered with officer's investigation by continuing to flee, and he fled up until the point where he had basically run into a dead end and could no longer avoid the officer. The officer's testimony indicated that the victim in the case had been struck by the defendant, creating a battery, and the officer observed a physical visual wound to the victim's face, raising this to a straight battery rather than a simple battery. Thank you.
All right, so based upon the evidence presented, I do find that there is sufficient probable cause to bind these cases over to the state court of Clayton County. That's the order of the court.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can I be excused?
You most certainly can. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
When will my new court date be set? They're not gonna know.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. All righty, so good morning. Today is September 27, 2022. I'm Judge Kate Johnson. I'm about to call the calendar, so please make your announcements. Ashley Bailey. Ashley Bailey.
Is Officer Nimmons on today?
Your Honor, I was kind of, never mind. This is a different case. No, it isn't actually. Your Honor, this one's already been accused. Looks like it's pending in Judge Hayward's courtroom.
All right. What about Christian Bakerville? And please mute your devices if you're not speaking.
Your Honor, it looks like Baskerville is still pending. That one we would be ready on.
Okay, state's announcement.
Your Honor, I do not seem to have the file for Baskerville. Oh, I apologize. I do have the file for Baskerville. Just placed in the wrong spot. Is Officer Eric Floyd on the Zoom call? Officer Floyd? State's not ready at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. There are two officers trying to get in now. But one is Officer Nemus. Nemesis or something like that. Okay. All right, so you said state's not ready on that?
Yes, Your Honor. State's not ready on that because we don't seem to have the officer.
Was the officer subpoenaed?
Your Honor, the notes on my calendar say that the officer will be attending. It does not specify whether or not Officer Floyd was subpoenaed.
All right.
And Your Honor, it shows the same on my calendar as well. It doesn't say specifically which officer, but it indicated that they were subpoenaed.
Okay, all righty. And Anaya Bass.
It looks like that case was transferred on the 21st.
So it was accused?
That's what.
Anybody else have anything different?
I'm showing she's out to bond, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Aperia Brown.
Case appears to be pending, Your Honor. Defense will be ready.
Is Officer D. Piggers on here? Is Officer D. Piggers on the Zoom call? Pigors. Appears the officer was subpoenaed, but they did not appear to be on here, so state is not ready, Your Honor.
I'm ready. Christopher Bryant.
It appears that that case is pending. Defense will be ready.
Let me see if Officer Jackson is on here. I do not see Officer Jackson. So the state is not ready at this time.
All right, Micaiah Burlinson. Micaiah Burlinson.
Case appears pending. Defense would be ready.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Its announcement on this one?
One moment, please, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Little, position 6, was that your case or Mr. So's case?
Which one is that, Your Honor?
Position 5 and 6, that was your case or Mr. So's case?
That is Burleson.
Brown, it looks like Aperia Brown.
Brown.
Brown, Your Honor, I'll handle Brown, Your Honor.
You will, okay. Mhm.
Your Honor, the officer for Baskerville has arrived, as well as the officer for Bryant. They've both arrived. So the state is
All right.
ready on this.
So Baskerville, so the state is ready on Baskerville
Yes, Your Honor, and state is ready on Bryant.
and on Bryant. All right, and what about Burleson?
Listen,
I can come back to it.
I gotcha.
All right, and Sabrina Bird.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Officer Fenimore is here for Bird. And with reference to Burleson, Officer Dimmons is here as well.
Burleson, okay. Who did you say, Officer?
For Bird, it's going to be Officer Fenimore. Officer Fenimore is here. And Officer Dimmons is also here for Burleson.
Okay. All right, so what about Kevin Colley?
Looks like Mr. Colley was transferred to state court on 9/26, so it's bound over.
All right, thank you. Javarius Collins.
It looks like Mr. Collins is out to bond.
All righty. Now Kevion Curtis.
Looks like that case is pending. Defense would be ready.
Okay.
One moment, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, state's gonna need some time to get in touch with their witness for this one. The state's witness is not here as of yet.
Okay, so I'll just put this, hold this one. Julian Deloach. Julian Deloach.
State shows that Mr. Deloach is out to bond.
All right. Okay. Whitaker Dennis.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
State's going to request a hold on that, Your Honor.
Okay. Troy Evans.
Looks like the case is still pending. We are ready.
Mhm.
Defense is ready.
Mhm.
State's ready, Your Honor.
State is ready, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Alicia Green. Alicia Green.
Your Honor, it looks like Ms. Green is unrepresented.
She's still in custody?
Believe so, Your Honor. The case is still pending.
And Your Honor, the state's going to actually request a continuance on this. Our officer is out on annual leave.
Can anyone tell me if this young lady has bonds on these charges?
She does, Your Honor. It's a $1,500 bond for criminal trespass, $1,000 for public drunk, and $2,000 for obstruction. She's been in since the 16th, Your Honor.
All right, and do we know why she doesn't have counsel?
I do not know, Your Honor.
All right, I would like to get her qualified today. Give you guys an opportunity to speak with her and the state. So I'm gonna put that down as just a P-trial. At this point, I understand that the officer is unavailable, but if you guys could speak, that would be helpful.
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then if someone eventually can tell me how long she's been in jail,
Since September the 16th, Your Honor.
September 16th. All right. And whether or not she have any holds on her.
She does not appear to have any holds.
Okay. Thank you. All right, UKL Jones.
Defense is ready.
State's going to request a hold.
Okay. All right. Justin Jordan.
Defense is ready.
State's ready.
All righty, thank you. London Kelly.
Your Honor, defense would actually like to request conference with the state regarding London Kelly before making an announcement.
All right, so that's going to be a pretrial. Is the state ready otherwise?
Your Honor, let me see if Mr. Walker is here, if Officer Walker is here. State would request that we hold for the officer.
Okay. Anthony Kindred.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
State's ready, Your Honor.
All right. Trevion Lloyd. Trevion Lloyd.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
State would request a hold for the officer.
All right. Charlie Mahaffey.
Defense is ready.
They will request a hold for the officer.
Anthony Martin.
Defense is ready.
State would State is requesting a hold for the officer.
And does this individual, how long has this individual been in jail?
Your Honor, he's been in jail since the 19th, excuse me, since the 11th.
Since the 19th?
I'm sorry, since the 11th, I misspoke.
The 11th.
Yes, the 11th.
And as far as you know, are there any holds?
I do not see any, Your Honor.
I want to put that one down as a pretrial to see if this can be worked out. But you said the state, you're not ready at this very moment, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, you want me to place it as a hold?
Yes, Your Honor.
All righty. Shakia McKnight.
Defense is ready.
State would request a hold.
All right. Hold on one moment. Jacqueline McNeil.
Defense is ready.
All right.
It is ready.
State is ready.
Yes, Your Honor, it is ready.
Jamal Muhammad.
State's requesting a hold.
And defense is ready.
Your Honor, that's my case, and Officer Coleman's present. The state's ready on that matter.
I can't hear you. Is someone saying something?
Yes, Your Honor. This is ASG Taylor. Officer Coleman's available. She's on Zoom, and the state's ready to proceed.
Okay, that's ready. All righty. Brittany Pisano.
Your Honor, it looks like she's unrepresented.
Okay. Want to get her appointed. How long has she been in jail?
Since the 14th.
How much is her bond?
Bond is set at $1,500, Your Honor.
All right. Raylene Pickett.
Defense is ready.
Your Honor, I do not see Officer Allen currently. The state would request a hold in this matter.
Justin Pinchonet.
Defense is ready.
All right.
State's ready, Your Honor.
I see an Elliot down there. You said ready?
Yes, Your Honor. State
Oh,
is
okay,
ready.
great. Thank you.
Is my notes say that the defendant has been transferred or loaned to Southern Regional. Are they present today? Have they returned to custody?
Deputy? Deputy at the jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, do you have in custody, was it Justin Pinchonetti?
You said Cincinnati or Cincinnati?
Justin.
What's the last name, ma'am?
Pitchnette.
Oh, yes, we do have him on the calendar, ma'am.
Oh,
Deion,
I mean,
Yes,
but do
he
you
here, y'all.
physically have him?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, we got it.
yes,
All right,
we do,
great,
ma'am.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Radaya Rahim.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
I do not see Officer Farley. They would request a hold for her arrival.
All right. Keith Scott.
Defense is also ready.
All right.
And Officer Franklin has not arrived at this moment. The state request to hold, please.
Devon Sermon.
Your Honor, I think they're out to bond.
Sermon is out to bond.
That was my announcement also.
Okay, great.
They are, Your Honor.
All right. And what about Christopher Sinkfield?
Defense is ready for Sinkfield.
All right.
And the state is ready also.
Mhm. James Smith.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Officer Williams is present. The state is ready.
Okay. Ariane Thomas.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't believe Officer Thinfield has arrived at this time. The state will request a hold on the matter.
Okay. Crystal Upshaw.
Your Honor, Ms. Upshaw appears to be unrepresented.
Can anyone tell me when she went on first appearance?
She had her first appearance on the 15th.
Of September.
That's right, Your Honor.
Okay. And Ms. Thomas, can you look that up and see if she simply refused counsel or what happened?
Yes, Your Honor. I was just thinking the same thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The state's ready in that matter, Your Honor. Officer Karalova is present.
On Upshaw?
That's correct.
All right, so state is ready. And defense is also ready, correct?
Well, I mean, she's unrepresented, Your Honor. I can get ready.
That's
I can
right.
be ready.
You can be ready. Absolutely. All right. And so Kareem Warren.
Defense is ready for Warren.
All righty.
I don't see Officer Floyd at this time if they would request a hold on the matter.
All right. Terry White.
Defense is ready.
So, I do not see Officer Hill at the moment. Your Honor, the state would request a hold. And on the previous position, Officer Floyd is present and the state's ready to proceed.
Okay, so Warren, state is ready.
Yes.
All righty. And then Alicia Williams.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
All right.
Officer Parks is present. The state's ready.
All right. Anton Williams.
He's got 2 cases, Your Honor. Defense is ready on both.
Okay, all right.
The state's ready, Your Honor.
Great. And what about Victor Williams?
Defense is ready.
The state is ready, Your Honor.
All right, and Rontavious Young.
Looks like that case is transferred to state court on the
That's
20th.
accused, all right.
Yeah, Your Honor, I believe he made bond. It says on the 20th. Well, no, I think that was when there was an order for bond, but it did get bound over to state court.
Okay. All right, so did I miss anyone? Does anybody have a name that I did not call?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
All righty, so I am going to go off YouTube because I really would like the state and Mr. and Holt to go into a conference